Hi everyone, welcome back to Falcon's House. I wanted to give an update on my NAS project. After I had gone through and I had issues with the hardware and whatever, I finally got everything configured the way more or less that I wanted it, but I was having little quirks with running Ubuntu server. I was running Ubuntu 18.04, which is the latest long-term support release. And they had just changed a few things that made not everything work properly based on the instructions that I was following to set out all the other things up. So really what I wanted, really all I need is just straight storage. But I wanted the ability to have Plex run and have some other things in the background running, like OpenCloud, for example. I just wanted to have some of these extra services working, even though I don't really use Plex that much, and really OpenCloud would just be for backing up my phone to the server. Everything was pretty much built around backups. So I was trying to get everything configured, and I couldn't quite get there. I was running into little problems. So one of the big problems I had that was really annoying to me was OpenVPN. I want to have it connect to the internet with VPN, so that way I can then point back to it, and then it's all encrypted all the way through, and not be so it's not directly interfacing with the internet with all of my data. And so, which isn't really that difficult to pull off. I just didn't want to, so I could get it to auto-connect with a command where I have my login information built into a settings file, and then I'd run the command to do it at boot up, and it would log in, and it was fine. But then I had the problem was, tied to that, was that when it was connected, now Plex is not on my local network. It's now being pushed through the VPN IP and not my local IP, and so then I wasn't able to connect to Plex. And what I should have done, I tried originally to use Dockers for Plex and some of those and other services, but I kept running into weird issues where it wouldn't connect, or it wouldn't read the storage, or because the way Docker wants to do it is it wanted to put it into the /home directory, and /home was on my SSD, not on my ZFS storage array. And so then I ended up not using Docker, and I just had Plex installed at the base OS. So eventually I was able to get Plex to work and OpenVPN to work, but I couldn't get OpenVPN into a cron job so that it would boot and work right away at boot and always have connection. And I couldn't get it because it wasn't in a container, a Docker container. It couldn't just reboot if the connection failed. So it was kind of a limiting factor. So I kind of got fed up with trying to do everything in Ubuntu. Ubuntu's a great OS, and if you know what you're doing, you're great. And I can figure out Linux somewhat. I support it with my job, but I do a lot more limited command line stuff, and it's more other things that I deal with. And so in that case, it was easier for me to not use a command line OS for this, and just for the most part use something with a web GUI. So I went back to Open Media Vault, with the risk, of course, that the developer is going to stop supporting ZFS and stop supporting anything besides Btrfs with version 5 like he's threatened to. Well, I don't know if it's really a threat. It's his project. But he's gotten a lot of feedback to not do that, and I don't know what's going to happen. However, because I had my ZFS pool in Ubuntu, I was able to just import it once I installed the plugin for Open Media Vault, and it imported the existing data that I had copied already to there. So with a few little tweaks, I got it fully working back with that same volume without having to wipe any of the data. So now I'm well, if he switches out things and I don't like how it is, I can just go back to Ubuntu or go to to go to FreeNAS or any other thing that can run ZFS and just import that volume and have all my data and then deal with everything else on the back end. So this way I have the upgrade path if I need it, but really I have everything working now for the most part. Like I'll probably do like a little thing showing what exists in the future maybe, but for the most part I just followed Techno Dad Life's guides to set up different Docker containers on Open Media Vault and set up my data, and everything just goes. I still need to do some UPS configuration so it'll auto shut down and a couple other little things, but all my storage works. I can send my backups there. Like, I don't have any major issues with that sort of thing. Like, that just works, and I have everything running the way I want it to. Right now, everything runs 24/7. I was able to, with Open Media Vault Tools, the first aid kit, I was able to enable Wake on LAN on my NIC. So, hopefully it works now. Before, I was having issues where it wouldn't wake and sleep, so I couldn't use the auto shutdown. But for right now, I don't care. I'm just going to let it run 24/7. We'll see how everything goes. Really, I'm going to save the amount of electric bill anyway coming up because we're heading into fall. And now that I don't have a hedgehog anymore, now I don't have to keep the house at a certain temperature. I can let it get a lot hotter during the day or a lot colder in the winter. But like, I don't have to do temperature regulation when I'm at work. And then I can just temperature regulate at night and step things down kind of over time. Eventually I'll probably get a smart thermostat, and that'll help too. But now I can save a little bit of electricity on heating and cooling, and then I can just put that towards the power cost of running the server. And so far I had to back up all my existing systems. It was about 2 terabytes of data, and I still need to back up more of Steam. Like, right now I backed up what I have installed on Steam, and not everything on Steam. So eventually I'll download more of my Steam games and just do backups and push them over there, and then I can just restore them back. I thought about doing a Steam cache, but the thing with Steam cache is you have to push everything through the Steam cache DNS, so I have to put all my system traffic into that server, and then from that server out, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Like, DNS isn't that resource intensive, but that gives me a point of failure that's a full system that can just reboot or has to run a thing, whereas if I'm running everything through a dedicated router, it's fine. And eventually I'm going to switch to Ubiquity router, and then that'll be better anyway, so I don't really want to have to rely on Steam Cache DNS in order to just back up Steam games, or I can just use the built-in backup, or a third-party backup tool. I haven't actually looked into that too much yet. But that'll probably be the next part of the project. We'll be getting all my Steam stuff backed up. Well, that's it for this update. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.